welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your support. It means so much to me. So guys, I have to admit, I've had such an emotional morning. Oh my goodness. So today was Cam's first day at his new school. I'll explain to you guys later why he's joined a new school. And oh my goodness, guys, I literally bawled my eyes out. Maybe it was my pregnancy hormones, I don't know, but I don't think that's what it is, because every time Cam has his first day of school, I always cry my eyes out. But I think I've got it out of my system. I really miss him. I can't wait for him to get back home so I can hear about how his day went. I mean, his day always goes fine, but I'm so worried on the first day. Anyways, guys, enough about that. In today's video, I want to talk about how my American child just finished his first year in a Dutch school. So, how did it go? Stay tuned because I'll be spilling all the beans. Before I get started, I wanted to take a second to say thank you so much to all the new subscribers and reintroduce myself for those of you who may not know me. So my name is Fiona, but because I love you guys, you can call me Fee. I only really get called Fiona when I'm in trouble. But together with my family, so 3 of us, but soon to be 4, we moved to the Netherlands from the United States. And on this channel, I share all my adventures about our new life here in the Netherlands. So today, I want to talk to you guys about how school went here in the Netherlands for my American kid. Now, keep in mind, Cameron did not go to an international school or a Montessori school or a Waldorf school. Cam was in a Dutch public school, so no private school. So yeah, I just want to share with you guys what our experience has been like. And if you want to know what the start of the school year was like, you can go and check out a video that I made a couple months ago, what Dutch school is like for my American child, and it's also linked on the description box below. I mean, I've gotten a lot of emails from immigrants who are moving here to the Netherlands from other countries, and they've mentioned that the school videos have really helped them. So if you're one of those people and want to know more about the Dutch school system, or at least how the experience was for us, and our situation might be different depending on where you are or where you're moving to in the Netherlands. So you'll hear our experience as Americans, which will have a filter in it, living in South Holland, because it may be different if you're moving to Amsterdam, which is in North Holland, or whatever other parts of the country that you may be moving to that's not here in the South. So take it or leave it, but this is our experience. So for those of you who may not be aware, we have one kid whose name is Cam, and he's 8 years old, and when we moved here to the Netherlands, he knew absolutely no Dutch at all. I mean, we did a few hours of Duolingo leading up to moving to the Netherlands, but that was all, so that was our starting place. So number 1 was that our first challenge when we moved here was the language. But I can confidently say that that challenge has been conquered. I mean, Cam may not know every single Dutch word that there is, but he can understand the directions that he gets from his teachers and knows what to do without struggling to understand. So he can converse really well in Dutch, and unlike before, where he mostly would make friends with the kids who could speak a little bit of English, now he makes most of his friends in Dutch. So I would say from the beginning of the school year, so from end of August, beginning of September through December, he was still trying to figure it out, and they would always have him bring home these different types of paper to kind of just get comfortable with the Dutch vocabulary and what different words were, and we would do them together and help him. But then by January, bam, it's like something clicked and he was off on his own. We barely had to help him. So it's been amazing to see how in January of this year, things just kind of took a turn. So for us, we saw that Cam got a really good grip of the language in about 6 months. And now he's correcting us all the time when we say something the wrong way. I mean, he knows more Dutch than I do. You know, if we get a delivery or someone comes to the house to fix something and I don't necessarily fully understand what they're saying, Cam is always so excited to help me understand. So yes, Cam has definitely way surpassed me and his dad in Dutch. Number 2 is that there seems to be way more field trips and excursions here in the Netherlands. You know, I think it's really cool because a couple times they've hiked to the playground, which is a couple of kilometers away from his school, and gone and played. I don't know, it seems like they have a lot more opportunities. The teachers have a lot more opportunities to do these things because it's not as strictly regulated. It's just a lot simpler and easier for them to do these things than it is in American schools because of all the liability traps. I mean, I guess that's why American kids don't go. Well, I mean, they definitely do go on field trips, but nowhere near as many field trips as they do here in the Netherlands. But in the US, the school bus has to take them. It has to be official transportation. But here in the Netherlands, plenty of times they just walk to where they're going to. It's just so much more low-key, and I'm not exactly sure why, but I think it has to do with the culture here in the Netherlands, is that kids can just leave to go get lunch at home or at the local supermarket and then come back. So you're obviously allowed to leave campus here in the Netherlands. I mean, most schools, not all schools, but in the US, that is a huge no-no. I mean, most of the time, it's completely forbidden to leave until it's the official end of the school day. So kids in general here in the Netherlands have a lot more independence than they do in the US, and you can see it even throughout the school day. Number 3 is that Cam got to get some really cool extra classes that you sort of get in the US, but it's a lot more common here. So this past year, he took a woodworking class where they focused on carpentry, and he really enjoyed it. Because if I recall, in the US, they just have art class, and that's just a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But we don't have like a whole woodworking shop. So I thought it was really awesome that Cam could get that break during some of his school days because he was really intensely focused on the Dutch immersion, and he got to go to the woodworking class where he used his hands and kind of just got a break from that. Number 4 was him getting his grades and how everything went this past year. So as I've mentioned in my past videos, Cam was attending an immersion school for the past year, which if he was to attend a public school, that's the only way it could be done. He had to attend this immersion school and then after that transition over to a regular neighborhood school, if you will. So the immersion school is intended to be for a full year, which I think comes down to 40 weeks. However, a lot of times they have the kids go for a little extra just to make sure they've got a good grasp on the language. So in order for him to have been able to leave the school, it's actually quite intense because the immersion school has to sign off on it, and then the school that he's going into has to sign him on. And if they do sign him off on it, the next challenge is finding a school that is ready to take him on. So essentially what it comes down to is that both schools need to communicate and be in agreement that he's ready to leave the school. So the way it worked with Cameron was towards the end of the school year, so mid to end June, he was doing a lot of testing to see if he was ready to move on to a new school. So when it was all said and done, they called us over for a meeting to his school, and we weren't really sure how it was going to pan out. I mean, we were okay with him having to stay extra if he needed to, and we were also okay with him having to leave if he was ready to go to a new school. So they called us in for a meeting, and it was really, really amazing because we found out that Cam passed and they were very, very happy with his results. So I'm going to put his report over on the screen so you guys can see what I mean. So you'll see some graphs that have a black line and a blue line, and the black line is Cameron and the blue line is the rest of the kids in his class. And then you'll see another report that has a black line, a blue line, and a green line. Now the black line again is Cameron, the blue line is the kids in his class, and the green line are Dutch kids. And as I mentioned, Cam did really well. He was measuring in the same level as the Dutch kids and some of the things slightly above. And so because of that, usually what happens when kids transition from an immersion school to a regular school, they usually end up going to a grade lower. So for example, in Cam's situation, he was in group 4, and when he went to his new school, they would typically have him stay in group 4 just because he's going to a full Dutch school and they want to make sure that it's not too overwhelming for him. But because he scored above in most of the classes, they had him go to group 5, which is where he traditionally would have been going if he was a Dutch kid. So that was really exciting for him, and it was exciting for us as well. And I'll tell you what, for me, I've mentioned here before, my biggest worry when we moved to the Netherlands was that Cam would be behind in school and that maybe, he would have to repeat a year. So the fact that he's in the same level as the kids his age here in the Netherlands really, really has me excited, and I could not be happier. And so back to what I was saying at the beginning of the video, the reason why Cam started at a new school today is because he is now fully able to speak Dutch, and he no longer has to be in the immersion school. So before the school year ended, we actually had 2 schools that were willing to take him in. So he went to both schools and tried them out for 2 days, and of course he loved them both. So it was a really, really, really tough decision to pick between the 2 schools because they're both great schools. But we eventually made a decision, which we let him, mostly pick where he wanted to go because he's the one who had a feel for it. And so today was the first day at his new school, and like I said, I cannot wait for him to get home to find out how it went. And number 5 is that he's been able to make friends, and that's what makes school even more amazing, is the fact that he's been able to make all these amazing friends. And what's been even better is the fact that because I've been having to arrange all these play dates with his friends' parents, I've now become friends with his friends' parents. So another reason why I was so emotional when he was starting school is that Cam had made such great friends at his old school, at his immersion school. So I was just worried that he has to start over again and make new friends at his new school. But Cameron is so friendly, he's so outgoing, so I know that's not going to be a problem. And I know before long here I'm going to be planning other play dates, and he's going to have a slew of new friends. And what's really cool are these friends that he's going to make now. He doesn't have to be separated from them for a while because they're going to be together in the same school through group 8. So these are lifelong friendships that he's about to make, and that just really, really warms my heart. So overall, guys, I would say that Cam had a really great first year of school here in the Netherlands. He absolutely exceeded our expectations. All the worries that I had that he was possibly going to fall behind because he was learning a new language, I was just worried that he would fall behind in math or other things that he likes, like geography and history, but he is absolutely doing well. He's still doing good in those subjects. He absolutely loves going to school. I mean, he's so excited to go to school every day, which for me is such a great relief because the alternative would not be fun. So that wraps up the end of the school year. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And until next time, Dewey.